And I mean, not Fast X, Transformers. What am I talking about? um, I liked it. I thought it was really, 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 really good. And I have to say, shout out to Anthony Ramos. Child, I already told you that's my husband. I have many husbands. In case y'all didn't know, but Anthony Ramos is definitely one of them. Seeing him on the big screen, I just love the fact that we're seeing people of color finally having their due in the mainstream and like on the big screen and stuff. And if people want to start that woke bullshit, go suck a dick, suck 1,000 of them. Because white people should not be the only ones that have a moment on TV or to be on the big screen or to lead a franchise. So, for those of you who are not aware of what the film is about, it is basically the seventh installment in the Talking Robots franchise. And they're saying it's the beginning of a new generation of Transformers movies, which I do think that they need to reboot the franchise because honestly, um I did not like the Michael Bay Transformer films. The only one of his that I liked was the first one with Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. The first one I liked because it kind of gave us the Bayisms, all the really the blowing up stuff, the action sequences, the special effects was awesome for the time, and all that good stuff. The sequels, I could not stand them. It felt, especially when the comedic robots that they had up in there, it sounded very step and fetch it, very racist, very stereotypical. If you watch back on them, I already know the woke ones, the ones that not the woke ones, but the ones that sit up here and talk about stuff as stereotype. They ain't gonna particular. They'll call out the bullshit. I mean, we've had people talk about that over the years, but I did not like a lot of the Michael Bay movies. So for me, the first Transformers, Bumblebee, which took place I think in the 80s, which came out a couple of years ago, and this one I feel like those are my top three Transformers movies. So if you have not seen this film, definitely go out and see it. But before anything, we should just talk about what it's about. So the film takes place in 1994 in Brooklyn, which I love because first of all, it's nostalgia. I was a kid in '94. I lived in Queens at the time, and it kind of took me back because it was just like cable boxes, um, a lot of like poetic justice, um, Notorious B.I.G. He was popular in those times. They were playing Wu Tang, like a lot. It just made me feel nostalgic. The soundtrack alone was what really got me. But anyway, so Anthony Ramos and Dominic Fishback are in the film. So he plays Noah Diaz, who is trying to get a job as a security guard, but because of his past in the military and this that, and the third, people was like, oh, he doesn't come across as a team leader, which is similar to him and Optimus Prime, because in the prequel, Optimus Prime had his issues or whatever that was going back where they got stuck on Earth, and he felt like he blamed himself for why they were trapped on Earth. But and then Dominique Fishback plays Elena Wallace, who works at a museum, who discovers this key that basically is from the Transformers, where they can go back. It's a key that can help them go back to their old world. But if this planet devouring transformer called Unicron gets a hold of the key allows him to come and eat a bunch of. He's an eater of worlds, which I did not even know that was Coleman Domingo that was playing the villain in the film Unicron, because I was like trying to recognize the voice. The voice was deep. But I was like, "Oh, Coleman Domingo, yes, honey." But I have to say, the person who stole the film for me, I mean, Optimus Prime was in there. Yet Optimus Primal was played by Ron Perlman, but Pete Davidson as Mirage was basically the comedic force for me. I loved Pete Davidson being in the film. His appearance in his part in this movie felt way more warranted than that stupid cameo they had him in with Fast X. Like that scene was just unnecessary. But as I say, I loved him as Mirage in this film. And see Anthony Ramos and the whole situation with him, it's like he's trying to get a job to help his mother out. The mother has a job. I believe she works as a nurse. She also goes to night school, so she's trying to make ends meet. His younger brother Chris has sickle cell anemia, so he's going through it with medical issues and this, that, and the third. So he's trying to help out with that. They're falling behind on bills, so they're struggling. And then it comes this opportunity where he gets caught up with trying to help the Transformers because he tries to steal a car, a Porsche, which turns out to be Mirage. And then he gets caught up in this fight between between the Autobots, and you know everything else. So, um, one of the things I have to say, and I don't know if y'all want spoilers, so you might want to have to turn away from this, but I particularly loved the post-credit scene because the rumors were always going to be that there was going to be a Transformers GI Joe crossover. And when you see the post-credit scene, they pretty much imply that they're going to be putting Transformers and GI Joe together in a movie. And I'm here for it. And I'll tell you why. And the way that they wrote it into the script definitely worked. It didn't feel forced, where they're trying to create all these little spin-offs with other programs like Fast X. Certain things felt forced. It didn't feel like it was earned. It felt like it was earned in this film. And how they introduced it is because, like I said it before, that Noah is trying to get a job as as a security guard, and he was in the army. So with them trying to interject that way, he went from a person who couldn't get a job to being offered one of the most prestigious jobs in the world by offering him one of the greatest jobs in the world, and that's working as part of GI Joe. So I don't know which character he'll play. He'll probably play like he'll probably just play like an off like a self-created character, which I don't mind that. I don't mind that they'll interject someone who is a brand new character in a world with pre-existing characters. Like, he interacts with Cobra Commander, he interacts with Duke, he interacts with Ripcord, Storm Shadow, Baroness, all those other characters from GI Joe. So if they could do that, kind of like what they did with, well, not really, Cole Young in the Mortal Kombat films, his character felt unnecessary to the franchise. But if you want to take more of a Cole Young aspect and interject this new character, a Noah Diaz, into this world with these other, superheroes like GI Joe, then to me that will work, because it's like you're the outsiders coming into this world with these characters that pre-existed during my childhood. Because when I was a kid, I had Transformers, I had Voltron, I had GI Joe, I had the A Team, I had the van and everything. So yeah, it's like I miss those days. Like, we had great action figures when I was a kid. And I have to say, one of the things when you watch this movie, it will definitely make you feel nostalgic. It'll make you feel like a little kid. And that's what I thoroughly enjoyed about it. Like, it literally took me back to my childhood. And I even choked up at one point. There's a scene, you'll know it when you see it, where I cried. Sort of. A little tear came out. But it was in the third act. I'll just say that much. But yeah, so I highly recommend Transformers. Definitely go out and see it. And I don't know how they're gonna do it. If they're gonna bring any of the characters back, like Channing Tatum. Wait, didn't they kill Channing Tatum's character off in the sequel? But anyway, how they'll go about doing the whole Transformers GI Joe crossover, but I'm here for it. And if they get the same guy that did this movie to come aboard and help with that whole cinematic universe, I'm here for it, because he directed Creed 2, the director of this Transformers movie. So it's definitely something that I want to see. It's definitely something I want to check out. And yeah, so if you guys are feeling a little skeptical about going to see this new Transformers movie, trust me. Um, Michael Bay is a producer. He's not a director. So his stench is not on this damn film. It's actually a good movie, and it's something that they'll recommend. And even the corny jokes work, surprisingly. And I love the fact that Pete Davidson even makes a joke about a corny joke. He's like, well, his Mirage. He was like, that sounded corny as it was coming out of my mouth. So I like the whole idea of the whole, self-deprecating, self-awareness, that sort of thing. So definitely, if you're feeling a little skeptical about trying to check out this movie and going to see it in theaters, definitely go check it out this weekend and help this movie do well, so that way it can get a sequel. Because you know what? We need people of color. And yeah, so we need those franchises, especially pertaining people of color. And I'm not just saying that because it's like, oh well, we just need to support for that reason. No, that's not what I'm saying. It helps because a lot of times when they put people of color at the forefront of a movie, if it doesn't do well, they Hollywood feels, oh, there's no audience for that. Y'all don't care about it, even if it could just be the movie sucks. But I feel like because Michael Bay did what he did with the franchise, damn near ruined the Transformers, people are a little skeptical. They don't know whether or not they want to go and put their money behind seeing this movie. And it could also be that we're oversaturated with films that people don't necessarily, people are being picky and choosy as to what they want to go into a theater and see. But I did hear that the box office so far is neck and neck with Transformers and um Spider-Man. So they're both kind of neck and neck with the box office results. So